Hey everyone, my name is Julia and I'm a physical therapist. I'm here today with an upper body and core strength workout. So we're going to start off with a warm-up to just get our body moving. Then we'll have 6 rounds of 3 exercises each for our strength portion. It'll be 2 upper body exercises followed by 1 core exercise and 6 rounds of that. And then we'll have a cool down stretch at the end. So I'm going to be using weight during this workout. Some of the moves you can do without weight, but most of them you would benefit from at least using a little resistance. So if you don't have any dumbbells, you can also grab some soup cans, water bottles, laundry detergent, anything with a little bit of weight. Okay, so turn on your music, grab your weights, and let's get started. We're going to start off with a warm-up. It's an important part of the workout. Got to get our body moving. So we're starting with some arm swings with a side step. So we're going to get the upper body and the lower body moving and grooving here. We've got a little bit of rain outside, which is good. We need the water around here. So we're just going to get the body moving and grooving, ready for the workout. Our next exercise is going to be ventral and lateral raises. So thumbs up, straight overhead, to the side, and then straight overhead in front of you. So with this one, if you want to do a little bit of a march, you can. We're just warming up your full range of motion since a lot of the exercises today are going to be overhead. And then for the next one, we're going to warm up our core. We're doing a walk down to plank. So keeping your knees as straight as possible. Walk down to a strong plank position and then stand back up. So getting the arms ready with a little bit of weight bearing, getting the core ready with a little bit of plank work. And our next one, we're going to be staying down on the ground. We'll go from a plank to a downward dog. So start in plank, push back into downward dog, come back to plank, push back into downward dog, plank, downward dog, and keep just going back and forth as far as you can from one to the other. A little bit more core, a little bit of weight bearing overhead. Our next one, we're going to get the heart rate up, is a mountain climber. So strong plank position, bring one knee in, then the other, keeping your hips nice and level, and you can also speed it up. So really starting to raise the heart rate, get a little bit of reactive core training. Keep your hips low. Don't let your butt become a mountain. Just because they're called mountain climbers doesn't mean you have to become one. All right, last one is up for fly jacks. So warming up the back, the chest, and that heart rate goes up. You can also do a stepping fly jack if you want to keep it low impact. I'm already breathing a little harder. That's good. All right, excellent. That's it for our warm-up. So grab your weights, grab a quick sip of water if you need it. Then we're going to start out with the strength workout. All right, we're going 45 seconds on, 10 seconds off. We have 3 exercises in each group, and we're going 2 rounds each group, and we're going to go 2 rounds at a time. I know that's a lot. So our first 6 exercises are going to be a push-up plus, bicep curls, jackknife crunches, followed by bent over rows, overhead tricep extension, and cross crunches. So here we go. So starting out on the ground for the push-up plus, you can do this on your toes or knees, but you're going to do a push-up, and then at the top, just add a little bit, rounding your shoulders here, getting a little bit of serratus action. So start with a normal push-up, and then at the top, just round your shoulders, push your shoulder blades away from each other, then come back to the plank, and restart the push-up. And you can always drop to your knees if you have to. But if you can, stay up on your toes. Good. All right. 10-second break. We have really quick transitions in this workout. So if you don't quite make it or miss a few seconds, that's okay. We're going to bicep curls. Start it up. So curl them up. So a couple options here. If you want to do one at a time, that's a great way to add variety to your workout. Additionally, you can stand on one foot for a little bit of a balance challenge. This is my favorite way to add some core challenge as well as keep a little bit of variety in the workout. I like standing on one foot. So if you're doing one foot, you can switch with me here. Keep it up just a little bit longer. All right, next one is a jackknife crunch. So down on the ground. And then arms and feet straight out. And then up into the jackknife. This is the core portion here. This is round 1. Then we'll be going right back into round 2 with those push-ups. Keep breathing. Make sure you keep steady breathing throughout all the exercises. All right, going back to that push-up plus. So again, you can do it from your toes and hands or your knees. Start it up. So nice strong push-up. And then add a little bit of shoulder rounding at the end. Keep it up. I know 45 seconds is a long time for push-ups. Keep breathing. Nice strong core. Almost there. All right. Grab your weights for those bicep curls, and you can join me for the single leg balance option. Start it up. I like to exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. Exhale through the harder part of the motion. Inhale on the easier part. If you're standing on foot with me, go ahead and switch feet. Exhale up, inhale down. Keep it going a little bit longer. All right, back down on the ground for those jackknife crunches. And this will be the last exercise of this first round. Start it up. Reach your hands towards your toes at the top of the motion. If this is too hard, you can bend your knees to come down. But if you can manage, keep your legs straight the whole time. Try and keep your lower back flat on the ground during this exercise. Don't let it arch up. Really hit those core muscles. All right, we're going on to our next group of 3, starting off with bent over rows. So grab your weights, hinge at the hips, neutral spine. And this giving you can choose, you can do kind of a narrow row, or if you have lighter weight, you can do a wide row. These are a little heavy for wide rows for me, so I think I'm going to keep it narrow. Make sure you're only bent over as far as you can while keeping your back neutral. If you're slumped, just come up a little bit. Keep it up. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keep it going here. Our next one is an overhead tricep extension. So I'm going to switch to some lighter weights for that. So have the weights overhead, elbows pretty close to your head. Slowly lower behind your head, keeping your wrists in neutral. And of course, keep your core on. Don't let yourself get into too much of an arched back position. And if you want to really increase the challenge, you can try standing on one foot. Especially with the weights overhead, this is a little bit harder compared to the bicep curl. Then switch feet to make it even if you're standing on one foot. All right, now we're coming back down to the ground for back bow pulls. So arms up, pull down, and then lower. You can drop your hands and feet all the way to the ground, or just keep them hovering like I'm doing here. And always keep those back muscles nice and turned on here. You can always take a break, set them down on the ground if you need to, but if not, try and maintain that muscle tension. So it's a back bow and then pull, kind of like a horizontal pull up, sliding those shoulder blades down your back and sliding your shoulders down away from your ears. All right, back to the bent over rows. So grab your weights again. All right, we had a little bit of a camera malfunction, so I get to do this round another time, starting with those bent over rows. Start it up. So drive your elbows towards your back. You don't need your elbows to go way above the level of your trunk. You're just really trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale on the harder part of the motion, which is driving those elbows up towards your sides in this case. Keep it going, nice and steady. Use those shoulder blade muscles. Keep it up. Whew, all right. Third round's the charm for me. So back to those overhead tricep extensions. So I'm going to demonstrate with just one weight. So if you want to go with me, you can stand on one foot. You can also do this, I have a kettlebell, but you can also do this just holding two sides of one dumbbell or the hand grip portion of one dumbbell, or you can do it with two dumbbells like I did last round. And always tap down if you need a little balance support. And if you're with me, switch feet here, stand on the other foot. So trying to keep your upper arms as close to your head and as vertical as possible. Control the weight lowering behind your head, then extend all the way overhead. All right, last exercise of this round is going to be the back bow pulls. So on the ground, arms overhead, lift, pull, extend, halfway down. If you can, keep the hover the whole time. If you need to, you can rest your hands and feet all the way down on the ground, but if you can, keep that muscle tension in all the muscles of your back, your glutes, hamstrings, shoulder blades. You're really getting the whole backside here. Keep it up. All right, that's it for that round. So take a quick water break, keep your arms and legs moving a little bit, and then come right back. We're gonna go into our next 2 groups of exercises. So for our next 2 rounds of 3 exercises, the first group of 3 is going to be an overhead press, lat pullovers, and cross crunches. And then our second group of 3 is going to be chest flies, palm down bicep curls, and plank with leg raises. So let's start off with the overhead press. Grab your weights and start it up. And as always, I like to do standing on one foot for balance, but that's also because I'm not maxed out on the weight that I'm lifting overhead. If you've got bigger dumbbells than me and you're really maxed out on the overhead lift, don't feel the need to stand on one foot. You can do a stagger stance if you like, but I would keep both feet on the ground. If you're with me, switch feet here. Exhale overhead, inhale to lower. Try and keep your forearms vertical the whole time. And breathe. All right, now we're going to those lat pullovers. So if this is the first time you're doing this exercise, go super light. So on your back, lower your hands overhead with the weight as far as you can while keeping control. Then come right back over your shoulders. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. This is a vulnerable position for your shoulder, so make sure you're lifting a light weight first. Then once you get the form down, then you can increase your weight. Keep it going here. Try and keep your shoulder blades set down on your back, shoulders away from your ears. Don't let your shoulder pop forward. All right, next one is going to be a cross crunch. So we're an oblique crunch, put the weights down. Hands behind your head, but not pulling on it. You're going to crunch your elbow towards your opposite knee. And extend the other leg towards the ground. So make sure you're not pulling on your head. It's just a place to put your hands. Do a little chin tuck just to engage those deep neck flexors. And you should be really getting your obliques here. Try and rotate that elbow towards your opposite knee in this cross crunch. All right, back up for those overhead presses. So that weight got a little heavy for me at the end, but I'm gonna try and do the second round anyway. Here we go. So stand on one foot if you'd like to with me. It's also keeping my balance is another way to distract me from how tired my shoulders are getting. So, works a couple different ways here. Getting that balance work, working the core, switch legs. If you're doing the single leg balance, exhale up, inhale down, keep it going, keep your core tight, try and keep your trunk straight up and down here. Ooh, saved by the bell. Okay, going back to those lat pullovers. So grab those weights, starting right over your shoulders, lower overhead. And I'm doing palms up here. You can also do a neutral grip with palms in. And if you're really looking for a challenge, you can try doing palms down. That's going to work the forearms a little bit more, as well as putting the lats in a lengthened position. So it makes the work a little harder for them. So I think I'm going to stick with palms in and palms up for now. Also for me, since I'm a swimmer, palms in and palms up is a little bit more functional for me. All right, and then we're going back to that cross crunch. So put the weights aside here. Hands behind the head, just supporting, not pulling. Reach your elbow towards the opposite knee. Really try and get a good rotation in your trunk here to really fire up those obliques. Nice steady breathing. Keep it going, almost there. Keep getting that nice rotation. All right, now we're starting off our second round, starting off with chest flies. So go ahead and stay on the ground, grab your weights. Again, go super light if you haven't done this before, but you're gonna keep your arms mostly straight and let the weights fall. I shouldn't say fall, let the weights lower toward your sides. You can do this on a bench, but if it's the first time you're doing it, or if you don't have a bench like me, then just do it on the ground. It'll limit your range of motion, which is a good thing if you're just starting out. And again, like the lat pullovers, this is a vulnerable position for your shoulder, so go lighter than you think you can until you get good form down, and then you can increase the weight. Inhale down, exhale up. All right, next one is going to be palm down curls. So I'm using a much lighter weight for these ones than I did with the original curls. So palms down and curl the weights toward your shoulders. It's really going to work your forearms, and you can also stand on one foot with me. It's going to get your forearms and a little bit more of your brachialis, which is a different muscle that does almost the same job as your bicep. It has to work a little harder when your palms are facing down. Go ahead and switch feet if you're balancing like me. Try and keep your wrists in neutral here, palms down, but don't let your wrists sag with the weights and become a T-Rex. And then our core exercise is going to be a plank leg lift. So drop those weights down, get in a nice strong plank position. Then you're going to lift one leg at a time and try and keep your hips totally level as you do this. Steady breathing. You're really going to have to push that other toe and the opposite hand into the ground to maintain nice level hips and shoulders. And you're going to really feel that core turn on. Keep it up here. Keep breathing. I don't know if you can see my arms shaking, but it's good. We're getting a good workout here. Whew. All right. Back to those chest flies. So grab those weights. And start it up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Don't let the weights or your arms rest next to you. Keep them lower them just enough so that they're hovering right above the ground, or as far as you can control. Just working the chest muscles in a different way here. With the arms extended, the lever arm is much longer, so you're going to be able to lift a lot less weight than you would with like a traditional chest press or a bench press. All right, we're going back to those palm down bicep curls. So, standing up nice and tall, palms down, stand on one foot if you like, and keep that wrist in neutral. You're trying not to become a T-Rex here. Work those forearm muscles. Exhale up, inhale down, and then switch your feet if you're with me. Try and keep your elbows right next to your sides. Don't let them kick forward. Keep your elbows right beneath your shoulders to keep all the work in those bicep muscles and that brachialis. All right, put the weights down. We're going back to the plank leg raise. And if you really want to challenge, we're going to throw in an arm raise too. So starting out with just the leg raise, make sure you can keep your hips nice and stable here. And if you're feeling good, and if you're saying like, Julia, this is not hard enough. All right then, try and lift up your opposite hand at the same time. It'll really give you a balance challenge, a core challenge. Keep your hips and shoulders level. Ooh. You can see I'm tipping all over the place here. My arms are pretty fatigued. But this is the last interval before we get another water break. So, give it your best. Woo! All right, excellent. You earned yourself another quick water break, so keep those limbs moving. Grab some water, and then come right back for our last two groups of 3. All right, our last two groups of 3. The first one is reverse flies, tricep kickbacks, and swimmers. And the second group is side raise and rotation, side lat pullovers, and side plank hip raises. So we're going to start off with those reverse flies. Grab a pretty light weight on this one, because I'm just going to use 5s. Hinge at the hips, neutral spine, and then raise those weights up to your sides, keeping your arms pretty much straight, very slight bend in the elbows. For more of the rhomboids, you can keep your palms down. If you want to target that middle trap, you can go thumbs up. And this one's one you want to start pretty light on with the weight. Your arm is straight, so it's a much harder exercise for those scapular muscles than bent over row. Keep your spine nice and neutral. Excellent. All right, next one is going to be tricep kickbacks. So I'm going to switch out that weight. And we're going to go into that bent over position again. Kick the weights back. And with this one, again, there are some variations. I like to mix it up. So you can just do the standard palms in, tricep kickback. You can do palms up. A little bit more challenging. And you can also throw in a little bit of palms down, which is going to be a little bit weird and more challenging, especially for that forearm. Again, because I'm a swimmer, the most functional ways for me are palms in and actually palms up. Just kind of replicating the last bit of that freestyle pull, butterfly pull, pretty much any of the pulls. All right, give that a break. And we're coming down to the ground for swimmers. On your stomach Arms overhead, and you're raising your opposite hand and opposite leg off the ground. Again, maintain your legs and hands hovering off the ground if you can. If you need a break, you can always tap your arms or feet down on the ground in between each rep. Nice steady breathing. Really work those back muscles, glutes, hamstrings, the whole back side. Keep it up. Almost there. Just a little longer. Excellent. All right, going back to those reverse flies. I think I'm going to try and increase my weight a little bit here. So, hinge at the hips. Fly the weights out to the side. You're trying to get the weights about even with shoulder level. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keep that back nice and neutral. If you're feeling this too much in your back, you can always do one arm at a time and lean your other hand on a chair for a little bit more support. It just takes twice as long because you do one arm at a time, but that's fine. Do what you gotta do. Whew, quick break. Switching to those tricep kickbacks. Hinge at the hips and kick them back. So your elbows stay glued to your sides. You're really just trying to extend those arms out behind you to get your upper arms and your forearms in a straight line. And you can mix it up. I'm going to do some palms in, some of them palms up. And again, trying to keep those wrists in neutral. Keep it going. Almost there. Nice steady breathing. All right, drop the weights and we're coming down for the swimmers. So opposite hand, opposite foot, lift. And you can go slow, really lift as high as you can, or you can speed it up and keep that nice constant muscle tension in your back. Ooh, feel the burn. I feel it. Hopefully you do too. So for our next round of exercises, I'm going to be using a pretty light weight for those side raise and rotation because we're going to be working out our rotator cuff muscles. So keep that in mind. Don't pick up anything humongous. All right, here we go. So I'm going to grab some nice light weights for our next exercise, the side raise and rotation. So 90-degree bend at the elbow. You're going to raise to the side, rotate open, and then reverse and reverse. And I'm going to go back to standing on one foot. So this is working those rotator cuff muscles. Get a little bit of the middle deltoid here too. Keep the motion nice and controlled. You can switch your feet if you're balancing with me. Nice steady breathing. Remember, you want to be using a light weight for this one and control all parts of this motion. All right, we're going to the side lat pullovers. So we'll do the first round on one side and the second round on the other side. So remember which side you started on. So line your side, the weights over your shoulder, lower overhead, and then pull back over. So you're trying to keep your elbow almost all the way straight with a slight bend. You can bend up your knees to stabilize your lower back. And we're just pulling to the side with that lat. So remember which side you're doing now, because on our second round we'll come back around and do the other arm. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Good. All right. So we're going for that side hip raise. And so turn and be on the side that you just worked the lat on. We're going to try and really burn out this side. So up on your elbow and your toes and raise that hip up. If this is too hard, you can do the side hip raise from your knees, but we're going to really try and get the whole side of this body here with these side hip raises. And again, remember this side because we're going to do the other side during our next round. Sorry about my squeaky mat. You get extra sound effects. Hopefully you're just drowning me out with the music anyway, so you shouldn't even hear it. Keep it going. Feel the burn in those obliques and the side of your hip. All right, back up for those side raise and rotations. So pick up a nice light weight. And if you're with me, stand on one foot and we'll start it up. So side raise, rotate, reverse, and reverse. Side raise, rotate open, rotate closed, relax down. Nice steady breathing. Go ahead and switch feet here if you're balancing. We're getting all those little rotator cuff muscles in the shoulder. Really important for decelerating from a throw, or if you're playing tennis, hitting with a racket, or hitting a ball overhead, like with volleyball or something. Those rotator cuff muscles are important. All right, so remember which side you were on before. We're going to the other side for those side lat pullovers. Start it up. Slowly lower overhead. Pull it back up over your shoulder. And don't let your shoulders shrug up towards your ear. Again, this is another one. You want to use a much lighter weight than you think you can handle the first time you do this. Once you get really good form, then you can bump up the weight. But form is always the most important thing to get correct first before you start maxing out on the amount of weight that you're lifting. And these are pretty long intervals, so you don't need to be lifting a huge amount of weight. All right, so now we're gonna roll onto the side that you were just working that arm on, and we're really gonna get the whole side of this body here with side hip raises. So lift it up. We're gonna hit those obliques, your glute med, glute min, the whole side of your leg and the side of your trunk here. And again, you can always do it from your knees if you have to, but if you can, stack your shoulders right over your elbow, get all the way up on your feet, and lift that hip. And breathe. Feel the burn in the bottom leg, in the side of your butt, in your obliques. Embrace the burn. We're almost done. This is the last interval of work. All right, a double beat means we're done with that group and we're done with the hard portion. So you get another quick water break, keep your limbs moving, and then make sure you come back because we're gonna finish with a cool down and stretch. All right, we're gonna start off with a child's pose to stretch out your back here. So rock your heels back, or rock your butt back towards your heels. Reach those hands overhead. Get a nice release through the upper and lower back here. Next one is a cobra. So sink forward. Get a nice ab stretch. Look to one side. Look to the other side. So we just worked that core pretty hard, so we gotta relax it, let it stretch out a little. The next one is up on your feet. We're doing a cross arm stretch. So pull one arm across, stretch out your deltoids here and the back of that shoulder. And you can keep shifting from side to side on your feet as you start to cool down. Bring that heart rate down. Go ahead and switch sides. Pull the other arm across. Breathe, let those muscles relax. For the next couple stretches, we'll be heading over to a wall. So find a wall near you. We're going to be using that next. We're going to start off with a pec stretch. So, hand flat on the wall. And then turn away, get a nice stretch across the pecs and across the front of your shoulder. And breathe. Go ahead and switch sides. So if you're getting a little like tingling numbness in the hands, you can always try doing this in a doorway, and instead of bending your wrist back, keep it in neutral on that doorway and see if that helps. Our next stretch here is going to still be on the wall. We're doing an overhead lat stretch. So face the wall, abs tight, keep the lower back, avoid the lower back arching, and just sink down your chest towards the wall. Core nice and tight here. Really get a nice stretch through those underarms. And then we're going to go for a tricep stretch and a side stretch. So pull one arm overhead, then cross that same foot behind and lean away from that side. So we're stretching all the way down from your arm to your foot here, down the side of the body. Switch sides, pull that arm across, and then step that foot behind and lean away. Feel a nice stretch in your tricep, in your lats a little, down your side. All right, and that is it. You just finished an upper body and core strength workout. So thanks for joining me for this workout, and see you next time.